Hello and welcome to the Formation Lap, a Formula One podcast hosted by myself, Matt, or Ruby Motorsport, and my friend here, Lucy, also known as Last Lap Lucy.
Hello.
I'm going to trip over your name every single time.
That's
we do
okay.
this.
No, you just got to say it 100 times a day really fast. That's your new goal. Wake up every day and go, last lap Lucy, last lap Lucy.
And I'll get it wrong every single time.
Perfect.
Right, so we are here to talk about the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, also known as Baku. I think the actual circuit's name is Baku City Circuit.
It's Baku City Circuit.
Yes. And I think we're actually going to start with qualifying, because we had a record number of red flags.
We did. It was 6, right?
6. Yes, it was previously 5.
Stuff.
I forget what the actual tracks were previously. In fact, I sent it to my friends in our little Formula One group chat, and if I scroll back far enough, I'll find it. But weirdly, it was all relatively recent. Here we go. So Azerbaijan 2025 was 6. Sao Paulo 2024 was 5. Imola 2022 was 5. Azerbaijan again 2021 for 4, and then Hungary 2016 for 4. I found it very interesting that the top 3 were all of this generation of car. And I don't know whether that says something about the cars or whether it's just a coincidence, but we saw this a lot when this generation of car first came out, because obviously the rear wheels are wider than the front, so people were clipping barriers left, right and centre, but I don't know if it's just a coincidence or not.
That is interesting.
You'll have to excuse Lucy if she coughs, because she's not feeling well at the moment.
Yeah, sorry guys, but you know what? We show up. We show up for the lappers and the what are Ruby Motorsport followers called? Because I've got my lappers. What have you got?
I never thought about it. There's not enough of this.
I never thought about it too, and then when I was on my way to the lawnmower race, my brother messaged me and was like, "You're gonna have to give a shout out to the lappers," and I was like, "What's for lappers?" And he was like, "Well, that's what we're gonna call your followers," and I was like, "Okay," so I ran with it, and now I like it.
Are we gonna have to?
Hello, lappers.
Are we gonna have to come up with another name for our followers as well?
Yeah. We're definitely gonna have to play into the Transport for London thing. Oh my gosh, we could call you the Londoners. Hello, Londoners. Welcome to TFL.
Right, before we get too far off track, should we go back to Formula One?
Yes,
because for both of the teams, our favourite teams, it's not been a great weekend.
I don't know.
Well, the first red flag in Q1 was Albon.
Yeah.
Your favourite driver of your favourite team. So
yeah. So I was off to a pretty bad start.
Yeah.
I actually hadn't put quali on at that point. And my mum came in and was like, "Are you watching quali yet?" So I was in the middle of a game of Counter-Strike. And I was like, "No." And I was like, "What happened?" And my mum said, "Yeah, Alex crashed and caused a red flag." And I was like, "Oh, damn it."
Because I think this was barely... I don't think anybody had even done a fast lap yet. Maybe 1 or 2. Right at the start of the session.
Nothing ever happens in the first few minutes, right? So I was like, "Oh, okay, my game's only got like 5 minutes left. I'll finish up and then I'll be back with like a good 5 minutes left of the first session. And I won't miss anything."
No, the drivers normally sit in the garage for like 3 minutes before even going out anyway. Then we had Nico Hülkenberg. And I actually think this red flag was a bit premature, because he backed out of the... I forget what turn. I didn't make a note of what turn it was. But where he went off, he knocked his front wing off and he backed out of it and drove back to the pits. So they could have done that under double yellows and just carried on.
But I suppose red flags are more likely to be thrown in quali, because how are you going to set a good lap when you're on double yellow conditions?
Well, no, my point is nobody would have set double yellows. They'd have covered the marshals retrieving the front wing, and then it'd have gone back to green flag, and we wouldn't have had to stop and wait. But it's one of those things that
that's why there's been more red flags in modern years. Like, they'll just do a red flag now. just to make things easier and save the clock
Yeah,
ticking
I was going
down.
to say, I think it was more of a safety concern than anything else.
Yeah.
And then Colapinto. Just, he's not having a great year. And this didn't help. I don't think there's much more to say about that.
To be honest, I feel like Alpine are not having a great year in
no,
general.
no.
I feel like it's a very tricky car to get your head round and to do anything with.
It's a weird one because they looked pretty good in pre-season testing, and then they've just slipped backwards ever since.
Yeah.
While everybody else has moved. I don't know whether they've slipped backwards more than everybody else has moved forward. Then we're on to Q2, where Ollie Behrman then binned it as well.
Yeah, so I was having a great day.
Yeah. And then
2 boys.
Then Q3 is where it got a little bit more interesting. The man who was on pole for the last 5 years on the bounce, Leclerc, puts it in the wall at turn 15. A few I am stupid memes were shared about. I did see after he crashed at the Castle Session the first year he was with Ferrari. And then the one that everybody started talking about was Piastri. The man who never makes mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, by that point, so it was after Sainz had already set the fastest lap by that point.
Yeah, it was...
And there was kind of a will there, won't there situation with the rain.
Yeah, because it was Sainz was on pole, provisional pole, obviously. And then I think the 2 Racing Bulls had set times, which was, I think it was Lawson, Hadjar in that order. And nobody else has set times at this point. So, yeah, like you say, there was a lot of talk of rain this weekend, like there quite often is in Formula 1, and it never materialised.
Yeah.
Which is
It was
also...
already very windy as well. We did see that in F2. If anyone watches F2, shout out to F2.
So
a lot of drivers were getting caught out by the wind
earlier
in the day.
Yeah, so we had Piastri and Leclerc, the bottom end of the top 10. So in terms of the championship, this was Norris's chance to catch up and pull the 34-point gap and close that. And then he hit the wall as well, and he was P7. I think it was P7.
Somewhere around there.
Something around that. And he didn't really capitalise, and Verstappen did. Put it on pole. Yeah. So, yeah. Sainz held on to his time, though, and ended up P2, which was the polar opposite of what Albon did. So
it's almost a very big Williams sandwich.
Pretty much. And then, just to continue Haas's bad day, with Behrman being in the wall, Ocon got disqualified.
Yeah.
He failed a rear wing deflection test. And
that's unfortunate because it's nothing the driver's done.
Yeah, it's one of those things. That's on the team. That's completely on the team. So he had to start. I think he had a pit lane start. And he also interestingly, because he was disqualified, he didn't set an official time during qualifying, because obviously all his lap times were deleted essentially. So as per the regulations, and I think a lot of people forget this exists now, is he had to apply to be allowed to enter the race.
Yeah.
So this goes all the way back to when we had 13 teams. Yeah, something like that. And some of the backmarker teams were like really slow, so they were like, okay, whatever pole time is, you have to qualify within 107% of that time, or you don't get to race. If you don't set a time at all, you have to prove that you can basically set times within that time. And I don't think anybody's actually not been allowed to race since that rule was implemented.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And that was kind of chaotic for qualifying. Qualifying is not normally that chaotic. Qualifying doesn't normally have red flags. The
Yeah.
qualifying went on longer than the race did in terms of time from the first session starting, and was basically double the time of Monza.
Yeah.
Because that was.
I mean, several people were saying even before the race started that quali was already longer than any race that season so far, or this season so far, I should say. It's happening right now.
I don't know whether that's true or not. I'll have to check.
I think people were saying that. I'm pretty sure. I'm sure like Autosport posted that as well or something.
Qualifying normally goes on for about an hour without interruptions. But I could be wrong. I might have to check that, actually. Be interesting.
The races are like 1 hour 20, right?
As of Monza, between an hour and 2, I guess.
What did I just say?
Apparently the 100.
What did I just claim? I can't actually remember what I just said like 30 seconds ago. Please can you remind me?
Qualifying takes longer than the races.
Yeah. That qualifying took longer than the races.
That one definitely did.
That one, specifically that one.
Apparently the one.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Apparently the 107% rule came in 1996, when the car counter dropped below 26. Okay, I'll have to double check that as well. I thought that was a recent thing, but I guess it wasn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say I had it back in like. See, I had it as like in my head as like the 60s or the 70s. So we were both, we got there eventually between us.
Yeah. I'll have to double check. Shall we talk about the race?
Yes, let's.
Because to start off with, Piastri's weekend kind of just continued to get worse.
Yeah.
Because before the race had even actually started, he jumped forward in his pit box, had his anti-stall kick in, then everybody else started around him, then he pulled away. So he was at the back almost immediately.
Yeah, I think before even turn 1, he was already down to...
Oh, yeah, before he'd even crossed the start-finish line.
Pit lane starter. I don't know, but he was at the back of the pack.
Yeah, sure. I'd imagine he was ahead of Ocon, because pit lane starters don't get released straight away. The entire field has to pass beforehand. Yeah. But to add to that, Alonso, who was directly behind Piastri, reacted to him as well. So he also got a jump, and they both got a penalty for it.
That's super unfortunate for Alonso, because like it's one of those things where you're so focused on that one thing that any sign of movement in that area is going to get you going. Yeah. So it's like, obviously the car in front of you jumps, that's a pretty big movement. You're gonna react. Yeah,
and it wasn't it wasn't a small movement from Piastri either. It was quite a large movement. Yeah. So I'm not surprised.
You could see him go forward,
Yeah, so I'm not surprised Alonso reacted, but I don't think he had anti-stall kicked in because he got a good start, or he stayed in the mid pit in the mid pack where he was, so he didn't lose any spaces like Piastri did. It didn't really matter for Piastri because to sum his weekend up, he crashed at turn 6 anyway.
Yeah.
I saw the onboard. He just made an independent mistake.
Yeah.
And just
just locked it up and straight in.
Yeah, so fully a weekend for him to forget. This one.
Yeah.
I mean, they say bad things come in threes, so he's had all 3 of his bad things now.
Yeah, exactly. And to be honest, that's the thing. It could have been a lot worse for Piastri. Like, Norris could have 100% capitalized and got a win. Obviously, he couldn't have, but he could have. Like there's a universe where he somehow did. I think once Norris messed up in quali, I think that was game.
Yeah, the writing was on the wall, as it were.
Yeah,
because Norris needed this weekend, especially with Piastri's misfortune. He needed it to capitalize to close the gap, and he's just not done it. So after Piastri's disastrous start and then crash, we had a safety car, obviously. Everybody else kept it clean, actually. I don't think there was any other contact on the start.
Yeah.
And then Verstappen did the restart.
Oh, didn't
And
like one of the Alpines cut the corner or one of the Hasses or something? It was
yeah,
very insignificant.
yeah, you always get that on starts anyway, but nobody had
Yeah.
any contact, I think is the main
Yeah.
takeaway. Everybody followed the rules. They did all the race directors, like rejoining safe procedures and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then obviously we had the safety car. So we're now running, if I remember correctly, Verstappen, Sainz, Lawson, I think, were the top three at this point. And I don't think anybody would have had that on their bingo card at any point this season.
No. I actually was it you that I messaged during this race and said, imagine showing this top 5 to someone just a year ago.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd
So
be like who's Antonelli? Why is Sainz in Williams? Where's the McLarens?
yeah, why are Racing Bulls P3 and 4?
Yeah.
So yeah, and then it wasn't a
Where's
great.
Ferrari?
Who knows at this point?
Yeah.
So it then got worse for Norris because on the restart, which at this circuit is one of the hardest restarts to do because that start-finish straight is so long. Norris dropped to P9 on the restart, along with Russell dropping behind Tsunoda, who was running in the top 5 at this point, I believe.
Shout out to Tsunoda.
So yeah, I don't know what Yuki Tsunoda's done recently, or for this race weekend, full stop, but he was up there. I think before this weekend, he was the lowest scoring full-time driver.
Wow.
I think somebody said that on the commentary. Which in that Red Bull is obviously not great, but we all know that second Red Bull car has been terrible for anybody whose name isn't Verstappen.
Yeah.
Well,
that's the thing, right? I feel like this weekend Red Bull have really locked in, let's say.
Well, the last two, because they've had back-to-back wins.
Yeah.
So whatever they've done to their car...
We saw a getaway, really, from Max. He just went.
Yeah, and I'm going to talk a bit more about that later. But we'll keep moving through the race. Because, as is usual with modern Formula One, everybody just settled down and sat in DRS trains. And that was kind of all I've got written down for the rest of the race, to be honest. Everybody just sat in DRS trains and nothing happened. There was one opened up behind Tsunoda, and then one opened up behind Colapinto, and that was pretty much it. The only real interesting other thing I've got written down here is Albon crashing into Colapinto.
Yes. Honestly, it wasn't a great weekend for Albon. You know how you can do like driver of the day or driver of the weekend? Albon was like the opposite of that.
Yeah, I think he shares that with Piastri.
Yeah, true. At least Piastri got some stuff done.
What,
you
know? What do you think about what happened between Colapinto? Because they gave, the stewards gave Albon a 10-second penalty.
Yeah, I mean, I'm biased. I maybe would have just said 5-second penalty, but I definitely would say it was a bit optimistic from Albon.
The consistency is that he gets a 10-second penalty, so that I don't have any issue with the actual penalty itself. I don't want to say racing incident because that is Albon's fault in my opinion.
Yeah.
But so watching it back, that's not. I think it was turn 6, which is not a place that people overtake normally. But Albon had just pitted. So he had a massive tyre advantage because I think Colapinto was running on worn mediums or something like that. So his tyres were they were properly going. He didn't get fully alongside and it wasn't a traditional overtaking spot. So I don't think Colapinto expected him.
Yeah.
As well as obviously him not getting fully alongside. So I do think it was Albon's fault. But I think it was just Albon was so much faster. He saw a chance. I just
Yeah, I
don't
guess he
think
was just
he.
very keen to. When it happened, I was just kind of like, well, time to cast that one out of my mind for as long as I possibly can.
Yeah, yeah, and that's yeah. The only other thing I've got written down here is obviously Lando then stayed out on his mediums for a very very long first stint, trying to
Yeah.
undercut the drivers he was stuck behind because he was in this DRS train with Sonoda, Leclerc, Russell, was Antonelli up there as well, Leclerc, like it's yeah, the whole train. So he managed to get himself a nice undercut, and he should have leapfrogged up to I reckon about fifth, I think it would have been. Um, but McLaren gave him another slow start.
Yeah. Another one. It was a
Same front right issue,
yeah. Do I
and
think there's something wrong with their gun? I assume they'd check that, right? Or is it just
yeah.
really unlucky that it's happened twice in a row?
If well, considering it's happened twice in a row, the team are definitely going to go and have a look at that, find out what they're obviously going to do a full
Yeah.
investigation and find out why they doubled their pit stop lengths twice for Lando.
Yeah.
My biggest issue with that happening is the fact that people are now asking, posting on social media and McLaren and like, what are you going to do to hold Piastri back now, or because of the whole situation from the previous race.
Oh, that's so dumb.
And there's even people in there saying that wheelman should get fired or something like that, and I'm like,
yeah.
oh, just shut up. Like,
Yeah,
if
so
you're that
people
kind
that
of
are saying-
person, just stop.
if you're that kind of person, you're not going to be listening to a Formula One podcast because
Oh, they're
clearly
not
the
going to be
people that
you.
are saying that are not intelligent. Like,
Yeah.
they don't understand what they're watching.
It's
And
fine.
they don't understand how motorsport works.
What they also are very very opinionated. So if there's anybody like that in our comment section, they're going to make themselves known very quickly and immediately get blocked. It's like, just enjoy the thing for what it is. Be frustrated that they had a low slow stop. They'll work it out. They're a top team. They won last year's World Constructors Championship. They're probably going to win this year's, and they are in contention for the Drivers' Championship still.
Yeah.
With 2 drivers.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
Relax, people. It's okay.
Exactly.
The world is not going to end, I promise.
Like, chill out.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I think as well, people that are saying, "Oh, you should fire him." I saw someone online actually saying that, like, come on, this guy gets paid loads of money, and when he has his one moment, he fumbles it. That's not how that works either. I just want to say, for people that aren't aware, and I'm assuming everyone listening right now is aware, but like, the pit crew are the mechanics. Do they realize that? Like, they do so much work through the weekend. They don't just do the pit stops and then go home.
This is the thing. They are first at the track when F1 arrives because they are setting up. So they put the garage together. They obviously then are, like you say, mechanics. So they, between them, work on both cars.
Yep.
They obviously do the pit stops. And then at the end of the weekend, they pack everything up again.
Yep, and they do all of this without the massive pay of the F1 drivers, without all the glory, without all the, the rich, fancy lifestyle. They don't get the private jets.
They don't get paid a lot. Let's be real.
Yeah,
it's not a lot. I don't want to make assumptions, but I think they get all their travel and expenses and all that sort of stuff covered. But their actual salary, it's not as much as you think it would be.
Yeah.
The only other thing I've got to say about this race is Carlos Sainz was driver of the day.
Yay!
With his P3, he lost out to Russell in the end, I think it was, and he got his P3.
For me, very much, and everyone liked that moment. I think you can't really grumble.
Yeah, exactly.
He had a great weekend, a great race.
Sainz is
cool under pressure.
Sainz has had a bit of a rubbish year, to put a very English non-swear word on it. And I think he needed this more than Williams did.
Yeah, I think Williams needed it too. Thing is, if you remember last episode when we talked about I'd been at Williams. And I mentioned that one of the team was actually giving a whole speech about how Carlos is a great driver and that, he's just getting really unlucky and all these
Yeah,
50-50s that have just not gone his way. And I think we finally saw the coin toss go in his favour for once
yeah,
this season. It's
yeah,
just so satisfying when something finally goes right.
yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Doug Tanian's just said, and this is what I was about to say. The race itself, pretty dull. It There was the crash at the start, Albon and Colapinto colliding in the middle, and everything else was just DRS train. Nobody could pass anybody.
Yeah.
And I've said this before, and it's probably going to be a running theme. DRS trains are killing the sport.
DRS, though, aren't they? Next season. Is it next season?
I'm not sure.
I'm sure they are.
They've got to do something because it's not working.
Yeah.
And I actually briefly want to touch on the World Drivers' Championship. So we mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
Obviously, McLaren, both of their drivers are fully in contention for this.
Yeah.
Mathematically, if Verstappen wins all 6 or 7 remaining races, I think it's 7. Actually, it's 6, isn't it? 7. Doesn't matter. If Verstappen wins every remaining race, he will be World Drivers' Championship champion, regardless of what the 2 McLaren drivers do.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So he's not only is he not out of this fight mathematically, he has a realistic chance to win this if he can win everything. Which
that's really interesting. Like just at the beginning of or end of summer break or whatever, we wouldn't have considered that an option. Like,
no, well, he's had 2 wins now, maximized points. Both Piastri and Norris have had 2 DNFs in the last 2 races. Norris has not scored well this race. Verstappen is capitalizing on McLaren's misfortune. And if they keep fumbling in the way that they are, he absolutely could still take this.
Yeah.
Which, as a McLaren fan, is not something I want at all. But it's not just an outside chance, it's a realistic chance.
Yeah.
Which, after, 3, 4? I can't remember. 3?
You know what? I was not aware of that at all, so that's really interesting. Thank you for bringing that.
I don't know whether it's a good thing or not, considering we would like both of us.
That's a whole new layer of drama,
Well, the thing is, both of us like racing.
Yes.
Doesn't matter what the racing is. We both enjoy racing.
Yes.
But we
need to go to truck racing sometime.
Truck racing is amazing.
I really want to go.
I'll make sure I take you.
Yeah.
But before we get too distracted, we just want to see actual racing and not pure domination from any one team or driver.
Yeah.
What we're seeing with McLaren is similar to what we were seeing with Mercedes when they were dominating. Is not only have you got you've got one team dominating, but you've got 2 drivers that are up at the front racing each other, and it makes it a lot more interesting than just Verstappen at the front every single race winning everything. So, it like you say, this does make it give a whole lot more drama, because now actually there's 3 people that could realistically win this, because Red Bull are getting quicker.
Yeah.
They've found something.
How have they done that? How have they so quickly and suddenly changed their performance, would you guess?
I don't know, because we don't know what they do internally. They've obviously brought an upgrade of some description that is working for them.
Yeah.
And maybe McLaren have got something that's coming.
McLaren may well have just started focusing on the next season. But then you think Red Bull will do the same? Oh
yeah, everybody will be, because it's actually it's not a major. It is a major rule change, but it's not. It's still an evolution on what we've already got. So it's not like when we went from 21 to 22. The cars are still fundamentally the same. They've just obviously got smaller. Not small enough, in my opinion, but they've got smaller. So moving on, we've got a few small news items to talk about. The first one, this kind of went under the radar with Piastri and Leclerc crashing over the weekend, but Baku have renewed their contract. So they are going to be on the Formula One contract until 2030.
Well done, Baku. Pun intended.
I saw Sky Sports posted this on, I think, Facebook, and that was the only place I saw it. It didn't seem to get mentioned anywhere else.
Yeah, I think it was because of all the chaos that went on. It was kind of got forgotten about a little bit.
Yeah. But one of the other things that came out of just before this weekend started, Williams submitted a right of review, if you remember, over Sainz's penalty during the Dutch Grand Prix weekend. So this was his collision when he tried to go around the outside of Liam Lawson. Sainz got a 10-second penalty for it, and they being Williams, submitted a right of review, and it was overturned. Which means the most important thing here is Sainz gets the 2 penalty points that was put on his license removed. And I think that's the most important thing here.
Yes, so remember we actually talked about this in our last episode, and I told you about how Williams had said they were going to do that.
Yes.
Or that they had done that.
Yes.
And they did say explicitly that the main reason for doing that was the penalty points.
Yeah, exactly. Because his and Lawson's races were ruined at the time, so there was nothing else they could do about it. And I assume they just then took 10 seconds off his eventual race time. I don't actually know what they do with the 10-second penalty.
Yeah, I don't know what that is either.
I'm just scrolling through the news article and I can't actually see.
As far as I'm aware, that wouldn't have affected anything anyway.
Here we go. The time penalty imposed by the decision was served during the race. They have no power to remedy that served time penalty by amending the classifications, but note that the gap between car 55, which is Sainz, and the car ahead in the final classification of the race, car 30, which I think is Lawson, was 17 seconds, so it wouldn't have made any difference anyway.
Yeah.
But the main thing is he got his 2 penalty points removed from his license, and that was the main thing they were after. And then
it's been a good few weeks to be a Williams fan.
Maybe that happening to Sainz gave him some good motivation to run into the weekend. You never know.
That perspective.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
And then finally for this week, we have the sprint calendar for next year has been announced by the FIA.
Yes.
We are still running at six sprints. If I scroll down, here we go. So I don't remember what years what they were or where they were this year, but we have China, USA, which is Miami for this specific one, Canada, Great Britain, Netherlands, and Singapore. Are there any there that leap out to you?
Yes. Zandvoort. It's their last year on the calendar. And also, this is exciting news for the lappers, I'm going to Zandvoort. And I got my ticket before I knew about the sprint race. So I'm basically, yay, extra racing for me.
Yeah. My problem with the one at Zandvoort is you remember the race this year? All DRS trains.
Where was it? Oh dear.
Yeah, it was another DRS train race. I think we've definitely had a sprint at Silverstone before, Great Britain.
Yes. Yeah, that was the first ever season of sprints.
Yeah, I don't think that was a particularly bad one, but none of the sprints have been particularly exciting, in my opinion.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah. Actually, Brazil, was it? It was quite fun.
I think that was the one that Hamilton had a brand new engine turned up to 11 so he could just pass everyone.
Yeah.
I think that was the only reason that was exciting. because
I quite enjoyed that personally.
yeah, and we're both British. We both like Hamilton, and that was quite an enjoyable weekend for us
Yeah,
because, like you say, he got a brand new engine and he managed to make over the weekend he made up like 25 places or something like that because he had to
yeah.
start. I think he started in the pit lane, or no, he started P10 for the sprint, gained 5 places, and then got a 10 place penalty or something like that because the weird way that they applied penalties at that point in time.
Yes, I think that might be right.
So that was the only reason that one was memorable. But I couldn't tell you any good thing about any of the other sprints that we've ever had.
Yeah.
And also, as Dogtanian in the chat has also pointed out, a sprint at Singapore is a terrible idea. I'm not sure what they were thinking on that one. So, because let's be real, we have enough crashes as it is during qualifying on street circuits, especially at Baku apparently. Nobody's going to risk any kind of overtake on a street circuit doing a sprint when the race is where all the points are scored the following day. So I expect that to be a DRS train as well. Danville will be a DRS train. Singapore will be a DRS train. Canada has been a DRS train with its 2 back-to-back straights with the chicane with the Wall of Champions in the middle. So
save us, Silverstone. Save us.
Yeah. And I don't hate sprints. They're just not giving us the racing that I think the FIA wanted. Or I think it might be FOM that decide this one.
Yeah.
Or Liberty Media, or I'm not actually sure now. I say it out loud.
Regarding especially like the Singapore sprint, how do the people that decide this not think of that?
Because the problem we've got, and I think some of this comes from Liberty Media, is they're thinking too much about the show rather than the racing. They want it to be a spectacular show and all this manufactured drama and all this sort of stuff. Netflix Drive to Survive sort of thing. And good racing gives that. And they seem to have forgotten this. So I don't think they're thinking, oh yeah, Singapore will be awful, because they're thinking, oh yeah, people will crash on a street circuit, let's do that. But they're forgetting that sprints in, say, F2 and F3 are quite exciting because everybody's in the same make of car. People can actually follow each other. The cars are a lot smaller. Overtaking's possible. And you've got people under the age of 18 whose racecraft aren't quite there yet and do make mistakes.
Yeah, and everything is on the line for them. For some of them, it's like, you've got to score these points or you will never have another chance.
Yeah. Also, let's also remember here, Singapore is in October. So at that point in time, if it's anything like this year, people aren't going to go for overtakes for the win. They're going to go to bank points for the championship. There's also, I'm actually just looking at this, the dates. We've got 2 sprints in May for some reason. Why they put them so close together? I actually, now thinking about this, I wonder how much of this is money driven.
What do you mean? Like,
I wonder if the circuits or the FOM or Liberty Media, I should learn all of the differences between these guys. I wonder if the circuits themselves can pay a sum of money to host a sprint weekend.
That could be it.
Because reading the article that's on Formula1.com, and you'll find these dates on there. In 2024, TV viewership for sprint weekends was on average 10% greater than non-sprint weekends.
Interesting.
And the sport continues to see an upward trend following the opening 3 sprint weekends of this season.
Interesting.
So I wonder how much of that is... And I'm speculating here, don't get me wrong. I just know that the world is driven by money. And a lot of the reason that we host certain races at certain tracks is because they pay the largest amount of money, and that's why the Hockenheim Ring or Nürburgring or other
Bring me
non-German
back.
circuits that I can't think of off the top of my head. Shanghai.
The French one.
Oh,
Circuit de Paul Ricard, was it?
that's the one. Yeah, Shanghai is the one I miss.
I miss Shanghai.
But anyway, that's all.
Wait, Shanghai? Don't we have Shanghai?
No, Malaysia. What's the one in Malaysia?
Yeah, Sepang.
Sepang. That's the one. Sorry.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good job you're here to save me.
That's okay.
But yeah, I think we've only lost a lot of those because then they can't afford it because they want too much money.
The greedy people in suits at the top.
Yeah, and yeah, Dogtanian's talking about the cars here, the size and the weight, and we know that's an issue because all you have to do, and I don't think all of this is down to the weight, because actually, whenever Formula E race at Monaco, the racing is always, without fail, spectacular.
Yeah, fully agree.
Because the cars are tiny in comparison.
Yeah, they've got room to make these overtakes.
I'm just checking the weight of a Formula E car, because obviously they're electric. There you go. Minimum weight, 840 kilos. And I think that's only 20 less than an F1 car. Nope, that's 40 more than an F1 car.
Oh.
So weight is not the problem.
Okay.
Categorically, weight is not the problem. Because Formula E cars weigh... Obviously, they're battery powered. So they're carrying around a bunch of batteries, more than an F1 car is. And they're carrying around more weight. So it's not a weight issue. It's purely a size and aerodynamic issue. Because they can't follow each other and the cars are too big.
There we have it.
It's that straightforward, especially when you compare other championships. Because you look at, I know it's a completely different category, but if you look at the World Endurance Championship, they are absolutely flourishing at the moment. And yes, it's a different category of racing. It's obviously full-length endurance racing, but the racing is good. You can go and watch Le Mans, and we've gone from it being an endurance race of let's just get to the end and you'll probably have a good result if you get to the end without any issues, to drive flat out for 24 hours or you don't get a good result.
Yeah.
And that's excellent racing, and you'll see multiple of the World Endurance Championship races this year. You'll see, and they'll do a 6-hour race, and you'll have the top. I think at one point, the Le Mans race had the top 10, even like hours into the race, 12 hours into the race, something like this, were all on the lead lap.
Wow.
And I think might have been last year had the most number of cars finishing on the lead lap ever, and I think it was 9 after 24 hours. So
that's just impressive. That's cool.
And look at the World Endurance cars. They're all completely different. And if we actually have a proper conversation here, they have a balance of power thing. So the performance of the cars is artificially manipulated to make the racing better. And honestly, I think if Formula One introduced this, there would be an absolute riot.
Hang on, is that like in DTM?
I'm not sure how DTM.
Where it's like if you are leading if you won the last race or something, they put weights in your car.
Similar. I think they adjust boost levels.
Yeah, see in DTM they had the success ballast. I don't know if it's still a thing because I only watched when Alex Albon was in it. But they had success ballast, so it was like all the front runners would always have more weight in their car. So if your driver had a bad race the race before, at least they wouldn't have the success ballast. So then they come like crushing through the field with a lighter car.
Yeah, they did
and
this.
It was really fun.
They did that with British touring cars, and they changed it when they introduced the hybrid system, and it's not been the same since. But success ballast is a fantastic way of doing it, because what would happen on touring cars, or the British touring cars, over the three 3 races. If you were leading the championship, that's how you got the most weight. So you'd qualify poorly or not as well, and then in the first race you'd finish mid-pack, something like that. Then what would happen is you would shed all the weight ready for race 2, and then you could make some progress back up the field again. So it made actual racing and actual overtaking actually happen. Because you then and it's one of those things where, do you want to artificially manipulate the race?
I guess that's the thing with F1, that it's all about developing the car, and it's so much focused on the technology of it all.
And I think
we've gone way off topic.
Oh, we're kind of done now anyway. That's all the news topics. So we are still talking about Formula One.
We're meant to be talking about Baku.
We've talked about the race. We've talked about qualifying. We're on the news and just anything else we want to talk about. So, Formula One is in a weird spot at the moment because the cars are the problem, and I don't think artificially changing it is going to make the racing better, in my opinion.
I'm interested to see, and that's the thing. It's one of those things where people are just not going to accept it, because people would be like, "Oh my god, they're trying to stop Lando's performance or Max's performance." You know, like people that's favorite driver is going to be negatively impacted are going to like go to war with the FIA.
Yeah. It's a tough one because I do think they are taking the step in the right direction next year by making the cars smaller.
Yes.
And I think that's we've said this before. That's a big part of the problem is the size of the cars, because they're just absolutely massive. They're, for those of you in the UK, if you pull up alongside any pickup truck, that's about the same footprint as a Formula One car.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up. Formula One car size. Here we go. So, do any of these actually have measurements?
That's crazy when you think, because they're so like wide.
You should so anybody watching now, if you put Formula One size comparison into Google and look at the pictures it gives you, or any other search engine, you'll get a good idea of what they used to look like compared to what they are now, and you'll actually realize why this is such a problem.
You know what's really interesting, and this is extremely off topic. I apologize to the people that are here just to hear Formula One stuff. Have you ever seen that thing where it's like, well, not that thing, it's just a thing that happens in life. I'm so sorry, I'm rambling. But, you know when you're on a bus, like a public transport bus, and you can like walk down the middle aisle and there's like 2 seats either side, and you can like, you know, move around pretty comfortably. And then you're in like a regular like passenger car. And you think about how you... Imagine that versus a bus. You know what I mean? Like, how is there so much more room in a bus? Imagine if normal cars were the same layout as a bus, where you could sit like 5 in a row.
Yeah.
And that tricks me out every time. Now imagine how many people could you seat side by side in a Formula One car? Obviously just one. But like, if you thought about like the whole span of it, and if you just took like the bare base of it, like the wheels basically of where they're currently placed, and built a new like chassis around it and put people in it, how many people wide do you think that would be? Like a bus?
I was half listening because I was looking up.
That's okay. You know what? The world is no different a place for you having not really listened.
Because I'm trying to look at. Yeah, there we go. 2022 regulations for the current Formula One cars are 3.6 meters long.
Wow.
Let me put this in American language. 12 feet.
Wow, 12 feet, said the American.
It helps UK viewers because everybody measures height in the UK, but in feet as well. So
Yeah.
that is more than me and you put together.
Wow.
Because
How many Valtteri Bottas's is that?
Now
Did
we're
you say that
properly
they used Valtteri to measure Baku?
now we're properly off topic. He is 1.73 meters.
Okay.
So 2?
And what's that in feet? Ask to the American.
73 meters in feet. No, I missed a point. 5'8", apparently. About the same as me, apparently. Although I'm like
Valtteri Bottas.
5'9"-ish, I think, last time I checked. So yeah, he is 2 and a bit of a Formula 1 car.
Wow.
So yeah, Baku was boring. Some of the sprint choices are questionable, and the cars are too big. In summary.
Oh, I have a thing to talk about with Baku.
Yeah.
One of the commentators mentioned Briatore and Alonso and Alpine.
Yes.
What did you make of that?
I didn't hear what they actually said.
Okay, so they said basically Briatore, Alpine team principal or something.
He's not team principal, I don't think.
Or whatever he is, CEO. I don't know what he's doing. He's doing something. He's high up at Alpine. But something conspiracy theory. I don't know who said it. But one of the guys on Sky said it. And it was something about the Alpines were holding back the cars behind Alonso, who had a 10-second penalty. And something Briatore is also involved with Alonso, possibly his manager or something.
So, just for context, Briatore is an executive advisor for Alpine and currently de facto team principal because they don't have one currently.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
yes.
Okay.
He is also Fernando Alonso's team manager.
Right. Yeah, so that was it. So basically the Alpines, Colapinto, I think, was leading the train and holding back all these cars behind Alonso. Letting Alonso just drive off. I think that's just the way the cookie crumbled. I don't think there's any conspiracy behind it, but I just thought that was interesting that the commentators noted that.
I just think they've put the connection there because Briatore is Alonso's manager. I don't think Briatore is stupid enough to try and do something in F1 like he did in 2008.
Yeah.
And for context, for those that don't know, go and look up Crashgate 2008 and you'll understand what we're talking about.
I'm actually so proud to have been watching F1 when Crashgate was a thing, because it was just about the year that I became conscious. You know when you're like 2 and you don't know what's going on in the world? Crashgate was like it was 2007 was the first season I properly understood what was going on with the car racing. So by 2008 I'd really got the hang of it.
Yeah.
And I remember I did not know about Crashgate. I didn't know what happened, but I did see all the news stories and the like pundits talking about it and stuff. So like once they explained to me what was going on, I was like, oh. And I remember my dad being like, they're going to be in big, big trouble. And I was like, yeah. So it always brings back memories to me when someone says Crashgate of me like just starting to understand how the world of F1 works. And that's how I learned that it's a brutal, brutal world.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's not changed. And I don't think it ever will.
Yeah.
Just ask Jack Doohan.
Oh.
So yeah, I just think that was a coincidence. I don't think there was anything malicious there at all. Like I just thought
I'd raise it.
Nobody else could overtake at this circuit, so I don't think even if Colapinto could actually get up on the back of that Aston Martin in his Alpine tractor, that he could actually pass him anyway.
Yeah, fair enough.
So yeah, I think that's enough for this week. Before Lucy coughs her guts up. She's actually done really well at muting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't think I've heard many since I mentioned it to start with. So
Yeah.
Next race I didn't look up in advance, so I am not 100% what it is off the top of my head.
Is
Where's
it?
the Formula
Is
One
it
website?
Singapore?
Yes,
I feel like it's Singapore.
it is. Singapore. That is
I've
the.
got the races on my fridge, actually. I went to the Williams fan zone in London, and one of the Williams sponsors was giving out these little fridge magnets with all the races this season on it for free.
Nice.
So I took a fridge magnet, and it's on my fridge. So now I've got the whole calendar on my fridge.
Nice. Fantastic. Right, so
Yeah.
that is the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of October. So we will be back the week after that, which is probably going to be, what, 7th? Tuesday? Something like that. Tuesday is normally when we can do this, when it works into our schedule.
Guys, hopefully, I actually am going to Italy, and I get back on the Monday.
Nice.
So hopefully I'll get through it all okay.
I'm just hoping for a good race, because the last 2, 3, actually, Zandvoort was not a great race either, so at least the last 3 have just, they've not been great. So here's, fingers crossed, we have a good race. Okay.
Fingers crossed, indeed.
Right.
It's been a pleasure.
Yes, it has. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for those that are going to listen in the future as well. If you've got any questions, obviously drop them in the comments, drop them in the chat. If we can answer them next time around, we will do.
Yeah.
Right. We will speak to you all again after Singapore in 2 weeks.
Yeah, see you then.
Bye-bye.
Bye.